Rabina Khan, who is a Liberal Democrat councillor in East London. Rabina, thank you so much for coming on the show. Happy Ramadan, first of all. I'd like to hear from you because East London is an area that isn't all, neither is all of London, houses with gardens. There are a lot of tower blocks, lots of challenges for your constituents. How do you think they will be reacting to the news that the lockdown isn't going to be lifted anytime soon?
Well, first of all, I'm really pleased that the Prime Minister is back and he is looking healthy, appearing to look healthy as well. He has a challenging task ahead. In Tower Hamlets, we have 1 in 3 children who live in poverty. We have families who live in cramped conditions, who are suffering from trying to homeschool their children in very cramped conditions. We have a number of families who live on the poverty line as well. But most importantly, the fact that the government was never prepared for the COVID virus has affected Black and minority communities particularly, and those questions need to be answered. We have seen an unprecedented number of Black and minority communities who have died because of the COVID virus. We've also seen the number of health workers working in the care support, and much of that health and care support work comes from Black and ethnic minority communities. These are very important questions that need to be answered. In addition to all of this, when we look at the constituencies, the residents that I work with, we've got a number of issues to do with local businesses who are not getting the right support and the grants that the government has promised. We've got to look at that and make sure that these local economies, fundamental to the British economy, get that kind of right support. What is important is the lack of testing within communities, the lack of testing in Britain as a whole. We have to look towards Germany, who is well ahead of us. And I think when we look in the post-mortem of the COVID virus pandemic, there will be a huge number of questions along the line of preparing this country, how we failed to prepare. Don't forget, in February, the Prime Minister missed a number of COBRA meetings, fundamentally affecting the planning stages for COVID, whereas our European countries, our partners, were well ahead of the game.
And just give us an idea, you touched upon it very briefly, of the living conditions of some people in Tower Hamlets, which is one of the most deprived areas in the UK. How safe has it been for them to stay home?
Many of these families live on very large council estates. So if they are living on large council estates, what we have to see is the spread of the virus. So it's very hard for families to self-isolate, to prevent themselves from contracting the virus. Many families where the government has said that you must only go out for shopping and essential items have often to make several shopping trips because they don't have the space to store food and non-perishable items. The other aspect to it is that we have a number of children who are living in very vulnerable situations who are overcrowded, hence that impacts their educational attainment. Because the schools are closed, families are unable to educate and homeschool their children. So the government itself has to prepare for a wave of children, excuse me, who could fall behind on education. They're already behind, but they will further fall behind. So we've got to prepare for the aftermath of families and children and communities who live on the poverty line, making sure that they are not affected.
Rabina, thank you so much. Rabina Khan, Liberal Democrat councillor, live for us there from East London. Appreciate your time. Thank you.